money. Money, money, money. Crazy about my
Role
money.
is within the carbon team.
And one of the 4 people that are on the carbon scenarios. I think that's one of our best features of the group.
Hey guys, Nicole.perrone here, $1 billion banker. Thanks for joining. Hey, did you know that last year...
To our origination staff, to our new originators that join us.
I am excited to have Scott Bonora here with us today. Scott is one of our SVPs here at CrossCountry Mortgage, and excited to have you. So thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, Scott, when we think about the audience and, loan officers, realtors, even consumers that are out there, I'm excited to have them get to know a little bit more about who you are and how long you've been in the business and how you got here to CrossCountry. So tell us about yourself.
Been this for 20 years, which is scary to even think about and consider that it can be that long, but it's been 20 years in the business, lending in New York City. It's the majority of my business, some outside, Jersey, Westchester, things like that. But the majority is in, condo co-op, deep into that in the city. Probably I kind of fell into this business. I was working at Morgan Stanley doing the Wall Street thing and just could not picture myself pinned to a desk, for 15 hours a day for the rest of my life. And kind of fell into this, because of just doing some, real estate investing on the side, and gave it a shot, knowing nothing about mortgages. And here we are today. So,
2 years later, huh?
Yeah, a long time later. So, been at CrossCountry now for just over 2 years. I was at my prior company for a long time, 10 plus years. Didn't think I would move, and ultimately, the stars just aligned, and certain things came about and changes came about that put me in a position where I was interested in making a move, which is never easy. But I knew some people at CrossCountry that really liked it. Spoke with our CEO several times, and just found him to be exactly the type of person that I wanted to work with and work for, and came on over and got settled in. It takes a while, of course, any transition takes a while, especially after being in one spot for that long. But I love it here now. The pace of change and the amount of improvement that I see happening real time within the company, whether it's, tech or product or support or marketing or whatever it is, it's been awesome to watch. And, here we are. So love being here.
Awesome. No, that's a great story. I guess nobody really, when they're little says one day I want to grow up and be a mortgage banker. So I always love to hear how people end up landing in this industry. I haven't
met one yet.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things a couple things that were really interesting to me, you spent 10 years of your career at one institution, and I know you said the stars aligned, but do you care to elaborate a little bit on why you decided to make the change? Obviously the CEO had a lot to do with it, but are there any other components as you speak to other loan officers out there that you could think about that you want to speak to that really appealed you to make the move from where you were to where you are today?
Yeah, look, everybody thinks feels they're in the toughest market in the country. I strongly believe that New York City is the toughest market in the country. It's just it is a different animal. You hear that all the time. And so for me, I've always felt you need to be at a company that is truly loan officer centric, right? You're focused on helping the loan officer succeed, giving them the support and giving them what they need to succeed in whatever market they're in. And, being on the coast, on the East Coast and neck deep in jumbo land and complicated scenarios and condos and co-ops and everything that goes along with that, you have to be committed to that market. And you have to be willing to provide the support. And where I was, that support was drifting further away every day. You can see it. There was many examples of things that were moving in the wrong direction, away from being focused on our business and the support we needed. So that was kind of the start of where things went. I felt like, again, after meeting with CrossCountry, I felt like they were 100% all in, ready to support us and give us what we need. I, threw down a list of, things that were going to happen, and they happen. And to this day, they continue to happen when we need something. It's funny, just this morning, I called our CEO, and I don't take advantage of that. I don't call him every 12 hours or every 6 hours or every day or even every week. I call him maybe, once or twice a month if there's something I need or I want to talk about. Right. And I called him this morning at 9:44, and by 9:53, I had a call back. Now this is a busy dude. He's got thousands of employees, and every time I call him, he will either pick up or call me back within 10 minutes. I remember calling him last year. He was on a trip out of the country, and I called him on a Saturday morning, fully expecting to get a voicemail, leave a message. I just didn't want to forget what I had to say. And within 10 minutes, I had a call back from, early in the morning in Italy. So This is a guy that gets it, right? I could never have done that at prior companies. Wouldn't even have the audacity to think I could call the leader of the company. And here he is, calls every single time, calls back within minutes. It's unbelievable. And so that's that kind of support to me is amazing.
And it's like the transparency, right? It's like the transparency too. To if you had to have a conversation with 3 layers of management to try to get that message that you wanted to deliver to him, how would it be conveyed on the way up as you play that game of telephone, and then on the way back down? And that was one of the things that really appealed to me in coming here, was the authenticity and the transparency of the process, the goals, the vision, and just what was important, right? And really, like I keep saying, it's a company started by a loan officer, ran by loan officers, people that understand this business, are in it every day, and for loan officers. Like, loan officers are the customer. So I think it's interesting to hear your experience coming from, a similar, right, but a publicly traded company before to a private company. I think is a big example of the difference that you can feel from that perspective. But really, really good example. You spoke a little bit about New York, and when you think about the New York originators out there, I think a lot of times, obviously we see banks having a pretty decent amount of market share in Manhattan. Manhattan has its challenges in the boroughs right now as well, between collateral and cash and everything else that's going on there. But I think there's this like misconception, like how do you succeed at an independent mortgage bank, in Manhattan? Can you tell us a little bit about what kind of business are you doing out here, and how are you growing your business?
Yeah, it's probably one of the most frequent questions I get asked. How have you been able to be successful and thrive in Manhattan when you have a bank on literally every corner? Everybody's got a bank account somewhere, and that's their first call. And so to me, it's always been, knowing your sweet spot, right? And mostly though, I look at our secret sauce, and I always have, is having the most product possible, right? We want to be able to capture as many buyers as possible. My approach is not, listen, if you have a client that is just going to call 10 different banks, and all that matters to them is the absolute lowest rate, 9 of those banks are going to lose and one's going to win. And so to me, I'm trying to add value. I'm always trying to add value to any customer that calls. And I want to convey to them that I know what I'm doing. I know how to get you to the finish line. Again, after 20 years of doing this, I've seen every scenario. Okay. I've seen every building issue. I've seen every kind of tax return. You name it. We've seen it at this point. But I also know product. When a scenario or a client calls me and here's the issue or here's what I'm trying to do, I know in my head within a minute exactly the direction I'm going to go in, because I know all of the product that we have. I know the agency, the Fannie Freddie basics. I know the guidelines for that. I know the jumbo product. And remember, it's much harder, as you know, on the non-bank side. If we're looking at jumbo loans, we might have 30 different guidelines to look at, not just one set of product.
Right.
So I always tell loan officers, you've got to be a master at your craft. If you truly want to succeed in this business, you have to know your product and know your business. And because city buyers are, they're smart, they're tuned in, they understand the market, they're sophisticated. And if you're not confident in, talking through the product and the options, that is going to feed through. They're going to pick up on that immediately. If you're not confident in your quote, in your advice on when to lock a rate, on what product to go with, they're going to pick up on that, and they're going to pick up the phone after you hang up and call somebody else. So, you have to just know what you're talking about. Now, the last 2 years, of course, it's been a different market, and there's been a shift, as you mentioned. There's a lot of cash out there, and so you look at what's being financed. It's a lot of first-time buyers right now, and that's a whole different customer base than the second or third time buyer that's spending $2, $3, $4 million. So you also have to be able to shift a little bit and move with the market. And ultimately, if you know all the product and you do that and you're responsive, the customers will come and you'll have success. Definitely one of the easiest things too, by the way, is just picking up the phone and just being responsive. And it's shocking to me how many times you hear they won't get back to me, or this is a client trying to give you their business so that you earn an income to support your family. How can you not call them back immediately?
Yeah, exactly.
It's basics, blocking and tackling.
Yeah, service and I think I just had a call with the candidate the other day, and when you look at the New York City producer, I like the way you put it. There's a bank on every corner, but of the 10 lenders that compete, right, one is going to win the deal, right? So it's, how are you differentiating yourself from the competition, and are you making that shift? To your point, if you've been in this business for 20 years, I'm sure you've made so many changes throughout the time, and this market, it's called for one of the biggest shifts. And just talking about the first time homebuyer business is a huge component of it, because it's 50% of the overall market that's out there. So when you think about the collateral process here, what stands out to you that when you're speaking to loan officers or you're speaking to realtors about the benefits of our process, how do you describe it, or what could you share with us today about our process here?
Yeah, so I look, the collateral piece, again, the condos and co-ops, it's the most challenging aspect of our business. I think by far, just being able to get a building approved these days, it's gotten harder and harder every year. And this year, I think, is like no other. We have issues like Local Law 11, right, that came out September 18th last year, that just turned New York City upside down. Within the first, probably 2 weeks, I think I saw 50 transactions come onto the team from other banks or lenders that just, they couldn't get it done. So, hey, we'll send them over here. Let's try CrossCountry. See, so, Local Law 11's made it very difficult. We're 10, 12 years after the 10% budget line item, reserve line item was put into effect. And how many buildings still don't follow that rule? So, there's all these landmines in trying to get condos and co-ops approved. The great thing with our model is that we can pivot, right? If you go to a bank and they decline a building, you're stuck. Back to square one, go find a new place and start all over, reapply, repull your credit, get a new appraisal, the whole thing. With us, we'll go down one path, and if something unexpected comes up, right, and if there's no way to circumvent that issue, and we just simply can't approve the building with that product, we just go to plan B, right? It's many times transparent to the borrower. Maybe there's a product change, maybe there's a small rate change, maybe, whatever, but we will get you to the finish line one way or another. And I think that's huge. And it's always been, to me, one of the benefits of being on the non-bank side versus the retail bank side. We have options to get you to the finish line, which is the most important piece of the puzzle. Nicole, I think I lost you. You might have hit your mute button there.
My bad. Yeah, to convert more customers, right, and to help more customers, that you definitely need it. I was just on a call talking about just, every lender that has different pre-sale requirements, different FICO requirements, DTI requirements, owner occupancy ratio, commercial space. To your point before, the budget, right? Not everyone requires 10%. I know that's the Fannie requirement that most people will go by, but it's important to be able to navigate through these challenges. So it's exciting to hear you talk about just the collateral process in general and how we navigate it. What else would you say is, some powerful, what products do you traditionally lead with? I mean, outside of talking about the fact that we have all these avenues, are there set products that you kind of utilize to open the door in most cases with people out in the city?
Yeah, it really just depends. I mean, because again, there's such a wide range of buyer profile and property type, and you have first-time buyers who could be buying in an HDFC building and spending $200,000, and then the next phone call could be for a $10 million penthouse. So and that goes back to why it's so important to have all of the product we could potentially have and all of the investors we can potentially have. So, for me, I mean, I love our CCM Promise product. I absolutely love that. I get the very first thing I do for our first time buyers, right? Confirm they're a first time buyer and then look up their address in LO1 in our internal system. And if they live in one of the designated areas, bam, they're qualified. That's like a rush for me. I get so excited when it's like hitting it's like hitting the lottery on that one for the client, because they're going to get $7,000. So I love that. Another great product, which I'm talking about every day, again, going back to Local Law 11, when this rolled out and Fannie and Freddie basically made it a hard stop that they would not lend on these buildings, we just picked up the phone, called our CEO and said, hey, this is going to be an issue. There are going to be many dozens and dozens of transactions that are going to die on the vine here because of this new rule that went in place with facade repair. What are we going to do? By the time we hung up the phone, he was on with our capital markets guys and our non-QM guys, putting together basically a brand new product for us. And now we've got an in-house product. We are one of the only places on the street that can close a Local Law 11 unsafe designation building. And that happened within just days. I mean, there's nowhere else out there in this business where something can happen that quickly and be put into effect. It was unbelievable. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I love that. We were just talking this morning about the Trump Tower approval, which was a big one where there was a variety of exceptions on that one, including the fact that it's a condo-tel financing, which is pretty unique in general. Most lenders don't do, but to be able to navigate through those situations and to have such an appetite for discretion and exception is really important, because everything doesn't always fit the box. And I think that one of the things you're seeing in the city is the tolerance for exceptions at a lot of the lenders is dissipating quite a bit. Everyone kind of has their amount of money available that they want to lend. They have that budget, whether the loan officers know the number or not, it's there. And not only do the rates fluctuate as a result of that, but also the guidelines will get tempered to kind of slow that down too and minimize the risk. So you see some lenders that aren't doing investment properties right now in general. But when you think about product expansion, another big win we had recently was in the reverse mortgage space in New York. Can you share with us How did that come about? How long did that take? Was that another one of the, you picked up the phone things, but tell us about how we got that win.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the first companies out there to be able to do a reverse mortgage on co-ops. This has been, kind of like a dream product for, forever. That was just never available in any capacity. CrossCountry hired a team of reverse mortgage experts, many of whom, a lot of the guys here have known for many, many years. So, and they were able to put together, just get through the process and get the right investors lined up and the right product and structure and put it together. And we recently closed our first co-op reverse mortgage. So, you look at something like that in Manhattan. I mean, the opportunity is just massive. I mean, you think about how many co-op owners out there of retirement age that have incredible equity in their properties and use those funds to cover years of maintenance or assessments or whatever. So that is definitely an exciting product we're looking forward to. We've got an amazing reverse team here. We just refer it right over, just like our renovation piece. I mean, again, it's the whole, we're in a cross-country construction piece. I don't personally do a lot. I just refer our renovation loans right over to our guy Barry, and he's the expert. So I think it's a great point. I mean, we have experts in these niche little products on top of everything else we have, and just the desire and willingness to add these products because it's going to help your loan officers sell. And in a market like we've been in for the last 2 years, where it's very difficult to come by loans, right? Volume is way down. There's no inventory. Rates are higher. I mean, name your issue. It's out there. Right. You've got to be able to capture as a loan officer. If I can do 6 reverse mortgages this year and stack that onto my W-2 as a loan officer, that's a win.
Right. And you're, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you're also, not just a loan officer, but you're a leader here, right? And when you think about what I'm hearing you say is like, how do you expand in a market that's contracting, right? And you're doing that by way of products. But when you're thinking about, coaching your team, or when you talk to other loan officers out there, whether they're staying where they are or not, what do you think as a leader and originator? What do you think the biggest components to being able to get back to the levels of business where you once were, where you need to be, right? Because let's face it, no one wants to be earning what they made 5 years ago when inflation's a real thing, right? So how do you coach your loan officers in this environment? What would your advice to them be on how do you double down and grow in a market like this with the challenges we have?
Yeah, so I think it's a number of things. First of all, expanding your product knowledge, like I touched on before. Look at on our team, our number 1 loan officer by production so far this year. He's a non-QM guy. We're talking about Nate. I mean, he is in non-QM. I never did non-QM, right? Never touched the stuff. But now I'm doing some non-QM. I'm looking for it. I'm talking about it, right? That's gonna bring the referrals in once you start talking about it. So if I could stack on a couple non-QM deals to my business, I'll get a reverse, referral here. I'll get a construction loan there, so just expanding your product mix and knowing what you have to offer and talking about it, letting the community know, your referral partners know that you've got this product, I think is huge. So, you're trying to cast a bigger net, right? You've got to go outside what you've been doing for the last 10 years is not going to work today. The second thing is, looking at your sphere of referral partners, right? If you only work with real estate agents, go meet some CPAs, go meet some financial advisors. If you have 2 financial advisors you work with, go find 2 more, because you really need double or triple the amount of referral partners today than you did several years ago to kind of maintain that business level. So I think you've got to do that. You've got to get outside your comfort level. Obviously, a lot of people still working from home. You just got to get out there, be face to face, and talk about, your value add, what you've got. If you're not telling people that we could do reverse mortgages on co-ops right now, you're missing a major opportunity, like we said. So got to talk about, just expand everything that you used to do.
Sure. I mean, casting a wider net. And what I hear you saying too is like, you have to be agile, right? You have to be willing to pivot quick and make a change in direction as a loan officer to figure out how to kind of keep pace. So while that's difficult, it's outside of your comfort zone. I heard you say, what was isn't what is, right? Like it's not what it was. So you have to you have to evolve and change with it. So I think that's great advice. And it's while it's something that we might sit on and we understand it needs to happen, it's taking action that sometimes is the hardest part. So Scott, when it comes to just your overall message and your community or what you do, is there anything else that resonates with you about what you want to share today with either loan officers or realtors about yourself, your business?
Well, I'd say, definitely touch on our team, right? The Carbon team at CrossCountry. I mean, I think what's awesome about this group of people that we have now, we've come from all different places, banks, non-banks, brokers, the level of experience here. And what I love, for the partners, myself and the other guys, we're all producers. Right. So we're in the trenches with every loan officer that joins this team. We know what's going on in the market. We know, what product is hot. We know what rates are doing. We know what customers are looking for. We're in it. We are producing. To me, again, is another reason why I left and looked to come to CrossCountry. If you're in the business for 20 years, I don't need 3-4 layers of non-producing managers sitting on top of me. I really don't, because I know more than they do, because I'm in the trenches, I'm doing it, I'm producing, right? So if I need something to have the ability, if a loan officer here needs something from us, they reach out. We have a scenarios desk. We answer, we help with, structuring products. We have an amazing operations, set of operations managers. Right. We have our condo co-op team that we touched on before. These guys are all very experienced and versed in every kind of product situation. We have an amazing marketing team. I mean, you really can't come close to the level of support that this team has on top of what the company already has as far as support. So it's really a unique team. And that's why I think, we're getting inbound calls now from loan officers at other shops, at other banks that are interested in coming over here. And that's why you're seeing us pull in recruits from so many different kind of areas and different types of places, because you don't have the scale to offer what we offer here. If you're a small shop, you can't offer that support. You can't offer the product mix that we have. You can't offer the pricing power that we have. If you're at a big bank, better than me, a lot of times they just don't want to be in the business. We have to be in the business. It's all we do, right? We do mortgages or we die. That's it. That's all we do. There's no off switch, right? So absolutely. I think it's a unique structure we have, and an awesome team of really great people.
Well, I'm really glad you hit on that, because I agree. It's kind of like being in the Carbon team. It's kind of like a company within a company, and what's been built here, it really offers all of the different levels of support that you need to become successful, right? And that's our goal. We're all kind of rowing in the same direction. Your goal is to be a successful loan officer, a successful leader, help your team produce. There's no other metric that you're working off of to do well, right? Like you're not going to be sitting in the corner there like, oh, I'm happy because I'm hitting my metrics. It doesn't matter what, if XYZ loan officer is successful or not. So I think, this is a great way, for loan officers out there that are listening to hear from some of the leaders. I mean, we've interviewed on, what we've coined as conversations with CrossCountry, Scott Bonora, Al Rappaport, Justin Lieberman. We have more to go, but Terry Cecilia, Elaine Teeters, like you've met our scenario people, you've met our onboarding people, you've soon to meet our marketing people as we start to kind of expand with these, but you can kind of get an open peek behind the door without actually speaking to us. But for those of you that are interested in learning more, we do want to help educate you on what else is out there. And, sometimes things are good, but they could be great. And other times, if we don't really become open-minded to listening, sometimes we don't realize what else is there. So, I wish everyone continued success in this journey, people that are here or not. Like, let's keep changing together. Let's keep growing together and sharing. And Scott, really appreciate all your support since we've been here, since our time here. We're metro market focused. You've been super helpful when, helping us wrap our mind around the differences here and understand how to really leverage the product to grow. So thanks for your leadership and congrats on your success. And thanks for joining us today.
Awesome. You too. Thanks, Nicole. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Scott. Talk soon.
All right.
Bye.